Welcome. This is the story of Haverfordwest. In the heart of Pembrokeshire stands a town with over 900 years of history. The town is still dominated by the remains of a Norman castle, but the story begins even earlier. Haverfordwest's location, overlooking the lowest crossing point of the Western Cleddau and its access to open sea traffic, attracted early settlement. Discoveries of Iron Age and Roman coins suggest that Roman forces may well have maintained a presence near here from the 1st century AD to protect trade routes. In recent years, significant Roman remains have been uncovered near the town, including forts, roads, and artifacts, all pointing to long-term Roman activity. These findings support the theory that the area was strategically important during the Roman occupation of Wales. It must be made clear, however, that no actual Roman settlement has been found in the town to date. There is, however, a local tradition that tells us that long before the Normans arrived, this place was known as Queen Eleanor. The legend reaches back to the twilight of Roman Britain when Magnus Maximus, the last Roman emperor of Britain, married Ellen, a Welsh noblewoman. As the Roman legions prepared to withdraw from Britain forever, Maximus is said to have granted civic status and Celtic names to pacified Romano-British settlements, including what we now know as Haverfordwest. There is no firm evidence for this story, though. The origins of the name Haverfordwest likely comes from the Old English word hafer, meaning heifer, combined with ford, indicating a river crossing used by cattle. The suffix west was probably added later to distinguish it from Hereford in England. There are several other theories, however, including a Viking origin, possibly from Havards Fjord. Some say this theory is supported by the fact that both Little Milford, or Milfjord, and Freystrop, both thought to be also Viking names, are located just downriver.
After the Norman conquest of West Wales in 1093, Haverfordwest began to take shape as a medieval town. Some believe there was a Danish settlement there earlier, but evidence for this is limited. The castle, the centerpiece of the town, was founded around 1110. While some sources attribute its establishment to Gilbert de Clare, Earl of Pembroke, many historical accounts credit Tancred the Fleming as its founder. Tancred was a prominent Flemish leader, overseeing the construction of the original timber motte and bailey, or ringwork fortification on the castle site. This early structure was described by Giraldus Cambrensis in 1188 as only an earth and timber construction. This is a topic of some modern debate, with some groups stating that he mentions stone walls being present, although there is little evidence to support this. Flemish settlers, arriving in waves from 1107 to 1151, were granted land in return for their military support to the crown, particularly to Henry I. This strategic colonization aims to create a buffer zone protecting the main Norman stronghold at Pembroke from Welsh incursions. One, named Wiso, founded a stronghold at nearby Wissun. The Flemish community played a vital role in trade and development, especially within the woolen industry. Around 1120, the town's first parish church, St. Martin's, was built near the original settlement within the town known as Castleton. The castle and lordship remained in Tancred's family until 1210. By around 1200, Robert Fitzrichard, Tancred's grandson, began the first significant stone construction, including the reconstruction of the castle's rectangular northeastern tower to serve as the keep. Robert Fitzrichard also established Haverfordwest Priory, and in 1207, issued a charter granting Haverfordwest the right to hold markets and fairs. He helped establish two more churches, St. Mary's and St. Thomas à Becket, both being present by 1210. Incidentally, all three churches are still standing and in use today.
Two major religious institutions shaped the spiritual and social life of medieval Haverfordwest. These were the Augustinian Priory, founded before 1200, and the Dominican Friary, founded sometime before 1246. The priory was situated near the river on the southeastern edge of the town, close to what is now the end of Quay Street, whilst the friary stood on the eastern side of the town, near Bridge Street. The canons and the friars both taught, preached, and served the local population. Their presence in the town came to an end when both orders were dissolved under Henry VIII as part of the dissolution of the monasteries, and their buildings were dismantled. None of the friary buildings remain visible today, but the remains of the priory stand as ruins and are open to the public. These are accessible from the bottom of Union Hill at the end of Quay Street.
When King John granted control of Haverfordwest Castle to William Marshal in 1213, Marshal undertook a major transformation of the structure. He replaced most of the original timber walls, towers, and gatehouse with stone, creating the formidable fortress that would define the town's character for centuries to come. This new stone castle proved its worth just 7 years later in 1220, when Llewellyn the Great burned the town, but failed to capture the newly completed fortress. The attack revealed a pattern that would echo through the town's history. While the surrounding settlement remained vulnerable, the castle stood as an unbreachable stronghold. Under Marshall's influence, the town flourished. By the late 13th century, Haverfordwest had become one of Wales's largest towns, with bustling markets clustered around St. Mary's Church and along the High Street. The area around the castle, known as Castleton, formed the historic heart of the settlement. A significant royal chapter began in 1284 when Queen Eleanor of Castile, wife of Edward I, visited the castle during her travels through Wales. Known for her shrewd estate management, she recognized the castle's strategic value and, in 1289, purchased it from William de Valence for £407. Though she owned it for only a short time before her death in 1290, Eleanor ordered repairs and improvements to the structure, reinforcing its role as a secure royal residence in West Wales. Her ownership also helped cement the castle's status under direct crown control. In 1263, the town had received murage rights, allowing it to raise funds for defensive walls. These stone fortifications likely enclosed the Castleton area, replacing earlier timber defenses and focusing on key points such as the Bridge Gate and North Gate rather than encircling the entire growing town. The town's prosperity reached its peak between 1328 and 1357, when Haverfordwest became the main port exporting wool from South Wales. Ships departed for Ireland, France, Spain, and Portugal, making the town a thriving hub of trade and commerce. But this golden age was not to last. In 1349, the Black Death swept through the town, halving the population. Once busy streets fell silent, and recovery was painfully slow. The town's endurance was tested again in 1405, when French forces allied with Owain Glyndwr attacked, but once again, the castle held firm. By 1479, Haverfordwest had regained enough strength to become a county corporate, granting it the right to self-govern and marking its continued importance in Welsh history.
During the English Civil War in the 17th century, Haverfordwest became a strategic battleground. The castle changed hands 4 times, occupied successively by royalists and parliamentarians. In 1648, Oliver Cromwell sent letters to the castle, ordering it to be destroyed. The demolition was only partially completed, leaving the ruins we see today. The castle's fate took another turn in 1779 when it was converted into a prison. A new jail was built in 1820 to replace a medieval structure.
The early 19th century brought remarkable transformation to Haverfordwest, thanks to one visionary man, William Owen. Owen was born in 1791 in Haverfordwest. He was an architect and county surveyor who led an ambitious program of civic development until his death in 1879. He designed the striking Shire Hall, completed in 1837, which still stands as one of the High Street's most impressive buildings. Owen also built the new bridge over the Western Cleddau, which operated as a toll bridge for many years. By 1825, Haverfordwest had been completely transformed. Owen swept away crumbling hovels and replaced them with elegant, Georgian-style buildings, earning the town the nickname Little Bath. However, this prosperity coincided with the decline of the town's port. The river began to silt up, and Milford Haven became the area's dominant harbour. To compensate for the lost maritime trade, new industries emerged in the town. Iron founding at the Church Foundry, paper milling at Prendergast Paper Mill, and specialist manufacturing such as Llewellyn's Churn Works, located at Northgate, helped support the town's economy, ensuring Haverfordwest remained a vital commercial centre despite the changing times. The railway arrived in Haverfordwest on December 30, 1853, when the South Wales Railway opened its line to the town. This was part of the extension from Carmarthen to Haverfordwest, with the first train service commencing on January 2, 1854. This linked Haverfordwest to the national network for the first time. The station was built to the east of the town centre, revolutionising both travel and trade for the local community. What had once been a journey of days by horse and cart could now be completed in hours, opening up new markets and opportunities that would help sustain the town's economy well into the modern era.
In the early 20th century, Haverfordwest began to spread beyond its medieval boundaries. New housing developments sprouted up in Merlin's Bridge, Prendergast, and Portfield, transforming once open countryside into bustling residential neighbourhoods that met the town's expanding housing needs. The late 20th and early 21st centuries brought fresh challenges. Out-of-town retail parks lured major shopping chains away from the historic high street. The rise of online shopping also dealt another blow to traditional retailers. Many familiar shop fronts closed their doors for the final time, and some of the town's beautiful historic buildings began to show signs of neglect. But Haverfordwest has always been a town that adapts and endures. Today, ambitious regeneration projects are breathing new life into the town centre, working to attract visitors and celebrate the remarkable heritage that makes this place so special. In 2022, whilst working on one of these projects, another part of the town's rich history came to light when builders working on the former Ocky White department store site made an extraordinary discovery. They uncovered human remains that led archaeologists to excavate over 300 burials. These are thought to be part of a medieval cemetery linked to the Dominican friary. Some of the remains showed signs of trauma, possibly connected to the conflicts of the early 15th century, adding another fascinating chapter to the town's story. The history of the town is on display in the museum. The museum has found a new home along the riverside, previously being located in the castle grounds. The castle itself is presently undergoing careful restoration, aiming to become a major visitor attraction. It is hoped the numerous developments will help build a brighter future for the historic town. The past 900 years has seen Haverfordwest develop from medieval stronghold to a thriving port, to the town we know today. What the next chapter will bring still remains to be written for the ancient county town.